Are you tired of being frustrated and having to repeat showdowns in MLB The Show 24? Worry no more, I got you covered. What's going on, all my MLB The Show 24 sluggers? It's Berserker84 here with a quick and complete guide on how to finish the showdown fast and how to complete it with just first try. There's a lot to go over in this video, but I'll make it quick as possible because I know your time is valuable and so you can get back to grinding. So let's get into it. First thing you're going to be doing in the showdown is you're going to be drafting a lineup, and on the first challenge you're not able to see what pitcher you're actually going up against. So we'll go in here and I'll show you how to draft a lineup. You want to be looking for power, and you want to be looking at your clutch and also speed, which I like to get a mixture on this first challenge. Since you don't know what pitcher it is, if it's a left-hand or right-hand pitcher, then I like to get a combination of righties and lefties, and I like to try to find somebody with speed. In this round, there's not an overwhelmingly good diamond card that has got a lot of good stats, so I like to call this kind of like a sacrifice round. So I see a guy here with the 90 speed and 97 clutch, so I'm going to select him for this round, because sometimes in the beginning challenges you're not down by a lot, so you may need just 1 or 2 runs so you can get him on base or sub him in with that 90 speed, and you'll be able to get around the bases faster. All right, let's go ahead and look at another round here for an example. And I don't see anybody just overwhelmingly again in this round, but here's a left-hander with a 107 clutch. Jackson Holiday always has pretty good swing. And if we use our first round selection with that speed and we get him on base, then we can be able to use this clutch right here to be able to get him around the bases. So now, like I said, I mix it up between left-handed and right-handers, and I'll look for a switch hitter too. Anytime you see a switch hitter, you pretty much want to get those too if they got decent stats. So I would take Jackson Holiday in this round. To make this video shorter, I just skipped through the diamonds and I just selected a few people in the diamond rounds that I had, and now we're moving on to the gold and silver rounds. And these players, I mean, honestly, they're not gonna pretty much do you much good on hitting. I mean, some of them may have decent stats, but what I look for is I kind of use these guys in the commons, you know, your bronze, your silvers and golds, and I just pretty much use those like sacrifices. Or I look for somebody with some speed that you can use for subbing in. Like, let's take a look at these guys here. This guy has 92 speed and Gunnar Henderson has 80 speed, but since we got a selection here of 92 speed, we're going to select him because, you know, we get somebody on base and we might need just 1 run, and we can get him, you know, substitute out for the guy you get on base, and he can get around the bases faster, and you get a base hit, and it may come down to that, to whether you score a run or not. So I use these guys just kind of like for sacrifices because they're not going to really do you any good hitting. So I just kind of keep them for mostly like speed, to use them for, you know, subbing in basically. So in this round, I would pick this Evan Carter, and I would just put him on my bench for strictly just subbing him in to run bases. The rest of the gold and silver rounds, I would just pick the best cards or look for lefties like this Gunnar Henderson. He's pretty solid. Or, you know, here's a Ellie De La Cruz with the 99 speed, and he's a switch hitter. I mean, you may just want to put him on the bench just for running bases with that 99 speed, but just basically select the best out of the options because they're not going to do you a whole lot of good. Now let's talk about selecting perks. Now, since we don't know what our first challenge is really going to be, then it's hard to know the scenario that you're in, but anytime you see hero time, you want to select hero time because all these are going to be in the 7th inning or later. So we'll take hero time, and then the next best ones to get is either rally time because it's exit velocity boost while losing, or exit velocity boost on the leadoff magic here. Those two are the best too, the leadoff magic or the rally time. Since you don't know the objective in the first one, then I would just go with the rally time because you're probably going to be down and you got to make a comeback. So I would just go with the rally time. Now let's talk about how to draft after you've completed one challenge. After you completed one challenge, before you select a player or you select a perk, you need to go over to your next challenge and see what your objective is. In this challenge, I'm going to be facing Chase Dollander. So if you don't know or you're not familiar with the pitcher, well then you need to go look the pitcher up and see if it's a righty or a lefty, first of all. And then look at your objective and see what your objective is, because that's how you're going to want to draft your perk also. And this one, we're going to be entering the game trailing by a run and take the lead before 13 outs. So that's how we're going to go draft accordingly. So we'll go to our draft, and we know we're facing a right-handed pitcher, so we'll be basically looking for a left-hander that's really good here. And here's a pretty good lefties to choose from. So we'll pick the best one out of the bunch. It's got the best stats. This guy's got good power and he's got a pretty good clutch, so we're gonna go with him, Michael Bush. And then now you're gonna go to your perks. Our challenge, we're gonna be trailing, so that means we're gonna be losing, and there's no hero time here to choose from. Otherwise we would choose hero time as our first and always first selection on that. So since we're gonna be losing, starting out in this challenge, we want to go with rally time here because that's going to give us exit velocity boost while losing. So we're going to select rally time. In case you didn't know, you can also double up on these. If you have a diamond rally time, you can use it with a gold rally time. So we're going to select our diamond rally time here. We'll replace it with, and we'll replace the wake up with the rally time. So you can stack them. Don't think that you can't stack these. You can have double of these perks. Now let's go and adjust our lineup to according to our challenge, and we're going to replace our lowest rated player with our newest drafted player. And it doesn't matter if they're in the position, you can put them in and out of position because they're not going to be playing defense, they're only going to be in offense, so it doesn't matter. So how you want to set up your lineup is according to your challenge. So if you got runners on bases already in your challenge, then you want to find your highest clutch hitters and put them in your top of your lineup, so that way if one of them strikes out, but then the second hole hitter or third hole hitter, you know, they'll be able to use that clutch to get your guys around bases. So since I know I'm going up against a right-handed pitcher, I would put my left-handed lowest clutch batter in the first hole, and then my highest clutch left or switch hitters behind him, because if we get him on base, then our clutch on our other players will come in handy and it'll help them boost for power to help them hit, since we got runners on base. Now in challenges where you have a lot of outs and you don't have any runners on bases, then you want to use your common or your low players as sacrifice players and just put them at the top of your lineup, and just basically just let the pitcher throw balls, and you know, you can just wait until you have 2 strikes to swing with those players. Use those like sacrifices because they're not going to do much good when they do hit, because they don't have the power or the contact. So I would just use them like sacrifices to wear down the pitcher, because the more you wear down the pitcher's energy, the more you'll be able to hit him. So you want to wear him down. So use these commons and low silvers and golds or whatever if they don't have good stats, and you got a lot of outs and nobody on base, then just put them at the top of your lineup and use them kind of like sacrifices. And I wouldn't swing until I had 2 strikes. I'd just let that pitch count go up and wear that pitcher down. Here's an example of what that lineup would look like if you're going into a challenge where you have a lot of outs to play with and nobody's on base. So you're just basically just going to be looking to wear your pitcher down. So you put all your lowest rated players in the top of your lineup, and like I said, I would just not swing until I had 2 strikes, just to get that pitch count up and the pitcher's energy down a little bit for your bigger rated hitters and more power swinging hitters. Inside your challenges, you want to be patient at the plate. You don't want to swing at balls. You want to take pitches and use your lower cards for sacrifices. Don't swing until you have 2 strikes. And on your diamond cards and your power cards, you want to power swing on your first and second strike, and then use a regular swing. And you want to wear your pitcher's energy down and try to move runners around bases, and that's how you complete the showdown without having to restart it. And you want to have those sacrifice players on the bench and sub them in for base runners to get around the bases. That's gonna do it for today's video. I apologize for the length of the video. I wanted to cover everything so that way you wouldn't have to be frustrated with a showdown anymore, and you can complete it on the first try every time. If this video was useful to you and you found it helpful, please give it a thumbs up. Let's try to get this video to 10 to 15 likes. And also subscribe and turn on notifications. I'll be posting content like this in the future, and it helps the channel grow in the algorithm. If you get this video to 10 15 likes, that's a goal I'd like to push for this video. And until the next time, peace.